Hello guys, welcome to another video of my channel. Esoteric Cloud Surfer here. First things first, shout out to the Soul Group, shout out to the Pilot Man, and shout out to Daria here with me,
Hi,
chilling in
Soul
our
Group.
spaceship.
Ooh, in the dreams.
Ready to take another ride in Esoteric Cloud. And what is Esoteric Cloud? Esoteric Cloud is a lighter vehicle, lighter as in weight, is also a less denser vehicle and a vehicle that is vibing on a higher frequency. So when our spirit jumps into that vehicle, it can experience and travel to lighter and more expanded realms of reality, and then it can experience more possibilities and more experience in general, and then it gets wiser. So in this esoteric surfing in this spaceship, this is a message to all people, all of you out there who has a planet placed in an exaltation, right? So, what first things first, if you are new into astrology or if you are new into spirituality, what is the exaltation of a planet? It's when in astrology, right, through the meaning and influence, is when we here on this body of water, on this earth, is when we feel the influence of that planet the most, in the most harsh way. Harsh as in a terms of quantity, okay, not of terms of being bad. Wait a moment. That air inside of me. So, an exaltation is when we can feel a planet influence the most, right? And spiritually or astronomically or through a perspective, another perspective, a more physical in terms of placement and travel perspective, an exaltation is when a planet during its course, during its rotation, to us it appears that is higher okay, so an exaltation is when we looking at the sky, that planet is in the higher placement for our perspective. It's when a planet is exalted, when we see it in the highest position of its travel. All right, this could be more clear, but let's get into it. So, if you have a planet exalted, this is a message for you. And where are those exaltations? So, the sun is exalted in Aries, the moon is exalted in Taurus, Venus is exalted in Pisces, Mars is exalted in Capricorn, Jupiter is exalted in Cancer, Saturn is exalted in Libra, alright? And Mercury do not have an exaltation yet, because Mercury is very young. So Mercury is still experiencing and knowing itself better and its surroundings better. Its surroundings, it's also our surroundings, because we are in the same system. But Pluto is still, Mercury is still learning where, in which house, in which space in the sky is hit more powerful. Alright, is Mercury in a way still learning where his most powerful place is. But through my perspective, through my analysis, right, I would say that Mercury is exalted in Aquarius. Not only because I have Mercury in Aquarius, but because Mercury rules Virgo, which is an earth sign. But Mercury in itself is more like an air sign. And Aquarius is an earth sign ruled by Saturn, an earth-like planet, and co-ruled by Uranus, which means speed, changing, individuality. And Mercury is what we think and communicate, right? And also, Mercury also rules Gemini, which is an air sign. So the air element is prevalent in Mercury. There is no question in that aspect. And why Aquarius and no Libra or Gemini? Because Aquarius is ruled by Saturn, which brings a more earth-like element, brings a more proper analysis, a more intellectual analysis, a more intellectual breakdown of the small pieces to reconnect again. That's very Mercury, analyzing. Then it's about what you think and what you talk about. And Aquarius, it's about individuality, right? Aquarius is about uniqueness and originality. And what you think is what you think. What you communicate, it's what you communicate. And then you can associate others and being known in a larger group of people, aka the 11th house, the social arena, as a person that talks or thinks in a certain way. So I think that Mercury is exalted in Aquarius because it's about thinking, it's about communicating, it's about analyzing, it's about structuring, it's about organizing, it's about speed because Uranus, it's about changing, learning. You change when you learn something new. You change when you become more aware of something that you weren't aware before. So that's learning as well. So Mercury in Aquarius has access to a faster learning process, a more changing process. And remember that Mercury rules two mutable signs, Virgo and Gemini. And mutable is the destructive, the composite, the tearing down the big structure and reconstructing with the same blocks. So that's a lot about Aquarius, organizing, placing limits and boundaries to know which is what is what, which is which, and change the structure. Take the structure and change that with analysis and logic and individuality. Because also, maybe it's going a bit too deep, but just quickly, the Aquarius resonates a lot with the fifth chakra also, not solely, but also with the fifth chakra and the throat chakra. And it's about individuality, your purpose in life, your own frequency and vibration. It's how we generate sound, external sound, through our throat cords, right? And Mercury is about what you think and what you communicate. And the throat chakra is also associated with the second chakra, because what is in your emotional mind comes into your awareness mind, and you worry and think about that. So throat chakra correlated to Mercury as well, and to Aquarius, our own unique frequency and vibration, being able to express what we think and that what we communicate, even if our voice trembles, we still make that message come across. So that was just my personal analysis of why I think Mercury is exalted in Aquarius. Okay, then Uranus is exalted in Scorpio, because think about it, Uranus is about change and Scorpio is about transformation, and transformation is change in a larger percentage, in a larger scale. So you take Uranus, change, and you exalt change, you get transformation. Scorpio, it's transformation, right? Then Neptune is very hard. I never really thought about it, right? I mean, I did. I'm an Aquarius, of course I thought about it, right? But I don't have a sure, fixed perception about Neptune. So I'll start thinking more about it. And I went through some sites, and it was very unclear. In some sites they said Leo, in some sites they said Cancer, in some sites they even said that Neptune was exalted in Virgo, and then in other sites Pluto was exalted in Virgo. So it was a bit confusing. So I decided to take my own analysis, to take my own interpretation, and share with you. So I think that Neptune is also exalted in Cancer, right? Because Neptune is like the grandma of Jupiter. It's a big Jupiter. It's a faraway Jupiter. It's like Neptune has learned and has expanded in the areas where Jupiter is now learning and expanding at. So that's why Neptune can act as a gate to out of this system to another systems. So if we take the Jupiter energy, rules Pisces, and Pisces is co-ruled by Neptune, so we have an interconnection over there. And if Jupiter is exalted in Cancer, Neptune it's also exalted in Cancer because it's you taking your dreams and imaginations and you pushing that forward. That's how you by initiating a new way to feel about that in Cancer, right? So I think we can exalt our dreams, we can exalt our imaginations, we can exalt our creativity if we care about it, if we initiate that with our own power, we move those things forward and we create our own comfortability, we create our own sense of care to our dreams, to our creativity. To me, that's the perfect exaltation of Neptune. Then Pluto, it was even more a mess than Neptune to search, so I didn't search a lot, I stopped. So I think that Pluto is exalted in either Aries, because Pluto already rules Aries and Scorpio, so that might be weird, but transformation, which is like the power or the influence of Pluto in Scorpio, is very internal. So when we bring that out and we express those feelings and new visions about our transformative circumstances, we can exalt that, share with others, share with the world. I'm sorry. Now others are aware of our transformation. And our transformation can represent us by being a testimonial of us, by being something that we carry around with us as a mark of our experiences that we have learned here on this earth, on this realm. Like, I really transformed and I'm prideful. I was brave and I'm sharing with you that, not what I think about it, but what really is. Aries. I know that. No, wait, Pluto doesn't rule Aries. What? That's Mars. Yes, Pluto exalted in Aries to me makes sense. So, the message to everybody who has a placement, if you have a planet, if we have an exalted placement, this is a message to you. And what is this message? It is that it can be, many people can tell you that have exalted planet is bad. Okay, and it's not bad. Alright, there is no good and bad. There is, in the esoteric realm, there is always gems in every piece of dirt. And I like to take a perspective to this subject through a more exponential, expandable, something that expands the proverb to that perspective. Imagine, if you have a planet exalted in a sign, that means that you can overexhaust yourself. Yes, that means that you can go through a lot of trials and tribulations if you do not recognize your own patterns. Yes, but it also means that in order for you to experience that type of energy, for an example, I have a Taurus moon. For me to experience a overindulging moment in moon energy, it only takes this bit, because the moon is exalted in Taurus, right? So I need to experience less of the moon energy to be exalted. So I need smaller physical representations to fulfill that energy within me. If you have Saturn in Libra, it's very easy to you, alright, to by you doing or catering to one or two responsibilities, you will be very easy for you to manifest even more, because it's exalted. You do a little bit and you get way more energy. That's the exaltation. That's why it leads to exhaustion, to being exhausted, because physically or in the world you do less of a thing, but you either expand or as in use or pay with your energy, expendable, more energy, or you experience more of that energy in general. So, with this said, in a way, you can learn faster and with less trials and tribulations in the external realm those energies, right? For an example, I'm a Taurus moon. It's very easy for me to feel uncomfortable, or to feel that I need to get comfortable before I need something, or to get irritated because my desires are not met, because my moon is exalted. So if I don't do moon energy, if I don't feel comfortable, if I'm not feeling pleasurable, if I do not feel secure, it's very easy to go this to expand because of the exaltation, but the other way around, to negativity, to insatisfaction, to insecurity, to unstableness, right? But that's all inside. That's all me feeling that experience. But the things that lead me to that feeling is just very small representations. So I only need to experience a certain amount of things in order to reach that state. And then if you can transmute that state of being exhausted in a certain energy because you have an exaltation planet, and you can transform that insecurity, that dryness, that exhaustion, that overindulgence, if you can transform and transmute that to experience, wisdom, and knowing your desires, knowing your patterns, knowing your routines, knowing where you are giving energy into a place that is dragging you down, you can transform that, right? That exaltation that would lead to over exhaust, and you can use that exaltation in the other way around. So you experience a little bit of comfort, in my case, in Taurus Moon, and you feel very comfortable. Instead of you experience little comfortable and you feel very uncomfortable, because you have transmuted yourself and you know your exaltation, you just need a bit of external comfort to feel very comfortable. With Mars in Capricorn, for an example, if you don't have a well-defined sense of status, you will get into exalted Mars energies and you'll be extra passionate, extra aggressive, extra destructive, extra burned. But if you transform and transmute and you do the polar shift on that energy, you will only need a little bit of status, only a little bit of success to be exalted in Mars, being extra aggressive, being extra motivated into the things that contribute to your status. You see, instead of you getting extra angry, you get extra motivated. My Taurus Moon, like I eat a small meal, instead of me getting sad because I don't feel full, that small meal, because I did a polar shift, my exalted moon, instead of going to exalted discomfort, go to exalted comfort. But the meal was very small. Before I was aware of that my exaltation can make me feel extra dry and extra sad because I'm not fulfilled, I learned that I can feel extra fulfilled by eating a little meal. I transmuted the exaltation. So you can learn faster because you have more access to the energy, and you need to go through less bullshit because little bullshit make you experience more energy. So you can do a little alchemic game, you can do the polar shift and use those little triggers to experience more beneficial situations and more higher feelings. Instead of being exponentially down, you are exponentially up. So that was the message to everybody out there who has an exalted planet. Instead of exalting yourself into negativity, exalt yourself in positivity, and you can transmute yourself from physical heaven, spiritual hell, to physical hell, spiritual heaven, because you do little physical pleasure, but you have a lot of spiritual pleasure. Because you have that exaltation. So with a small thing, you can access a large amount of energy. You don't need to go through too much, like Venus exalted in Pisces. You don't need to go through a lot of relationships to know that you overindulge into relationships and dreams and creativity and illusions. Because the relationships that you will experience will be extra chaotic. It will be extra uh, dispersed, extra lost. So you only need two relationships to know that you are fucked up on that area of your life. Because every time you went into a relationship, that small relationship, that it was one or two relationships, it physically just two, but esoterically, spiritually, that contained an enormous amount of energy. So if you learn that energy, instead of running away or that being a weight to your spirit that brings you down into worry and insecurities and lack of self-esteem, you use that energy as a fuel, as a spark, as a trampoline to jump to higher places without expending too much of your own force. You have access to a high amount of energy. Now you direct that to negativity or to positivity, but you don't need to go through a lot of bullshit. That was the main point of this message. You can learn way faster doing way less, but you can also get extra tired. You can get extra taken advantage of because you have a lot of energy, right? If you don't use that energy for yourself, other people can come to your space and take that energy because you have so much. They will feel he has so much, he doesn't need all of that, let me take a bit. No, it's yours. You choose what to do with it. All right. If you want to give, but don't be stolen. Don't let people steal from you. If you want to give, but make sure you receive something back as well, or that people is building your dream with you, or just in illusion thinking that they are building their own dream but they're working for you. You do what you do. You just don't be a fool out here with your own power, right? So this is the message for you today. I hope this was helpful to you. Remember, exaltation to heaven or to hell, to happiness or to sadness, to prosperity or to lack. You can be exalted in those two polar shifts. You do you, right? So until the next time, as a Cloud Surfer, surfing out. Shout out to Daria, shout out to Soul Group, shout out to Dolo the Pilot Man. If you want to book a reading with me, send me an email to esotericsurfer69@gmail.com. Check out my Patreon, Esoteric Cloud Surfer. Check out my SoundCloud, Esoteric Cloud Surfer. And till the next time, stay well, stay individual. Peace.